And welcome back for another edition, everybody, to the Triumvirate episode 49. And we're riding the wave, aren't we, Kat? At least you are. I don't see us included in that avatar or in that thumbnail. So I guess only Kat is riding the wave. So
I actually don't swim, so it's.
But I also noticed you're riding. You're not riding the
problem.
wave. You're riding towards the wave. Like, I don't understand that at all.
To me, it looks like he's like on this magical
Going to
pedestal of water, just kind of like you're riding next to the wave, like a little space saucer.
Yeah.
You know, Gronk only is so smart, so it's I'll take whatever it gives me. But yeah, I mean, I think that they're all kind of serving for some people. They want to serve, like, you know, the bottom feeders that they're getting a short squeeze, like open and lose it and whatnot. And for others, we are looking at some, better setup. Maybe, I don't know. It's I mean, not to say that like open and like whatever is not like a good setup, because I can't argue with this bullish engulfing candle that it's been having. But there are also other potential plays that are getting set up rather than trying to chase something, right? So what are we seeing here, guys?
Well, I was actually just going to start with Tesla since earnings are tomorrow and everybody's still talking about it. And speaking of setups, I think it is actually set up pretty well to continue the journey higher. What do you think, Kat?
I mean, I always thought that it's been kind of stuck in range for between like 290s to 360, 350, 360s. And I said that on like Danny's, Patreon for a very long time. It's just like, hey, it's still stuck in a range. This is why it's gonna stuck here for like another few weeks. But right now, it's looking like it's gonna get ready to break out pretty soon. And I think it has to do with like the Bollinger Band and the 20-week moving average and all that. So I think that it's getting set up for a run here. I mean, you can't have consolidation sideways for like 3 months and just expect further consolidation. That's not how Tesla works. So.
No, not at all. And yeah, just on my screen here, I just have the chart pulled up, and it's basically gone since the bottom here. It's pretty textbook, right up to the 786 on linear scale, right back to the 618 multiple times, and every time it got back down there, it just everybody said lower, 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 and lower never came, and it's just a bunch of higher lows, and now it's even maintaining the 321.32. So yeah, to me, and actually it even went back down there today, even before earnings, to retest it before. So maybe it's not even necessary to go back down there for a back test anymore. It could just continue the journey higher. So it just, to me, it's all set up perfectly, right? You got the 321 there. You got the Ichimoku. It's back inside the cloud. It's back above the conversion and the baseline. The conversion line just crossed the baseline for a bullish cross, right? This is set up. It's like I couldn't ask for a more beautiful setup to continue higher. And even if it didn't break out, I think at least it's going to continue to establish a nice base around like the 320 zone and just continue the journey higher. So yeah, it looks beautiful to me here. And there's nothing bearish about this chart right before earnings. And that's actually what you really want to see. You want to see kind of something breaking some levels right before an important event to lead the way, showing that, hey, this could be really a beneficial quarter maybe, and just shoot the chart up or shoot the stock up maybe up to the 347, 358 zone. And that's the level to break to get a lot more bullish. Basically, this 358, 360. Once that can happen, then the 886, the final boss, is there again, and then we get to talk about all-time highs. But to me, it does not look bad at all, and all signs point to higher, or at least continued stabilization.
I mean, I'm still waiting for the next Elon Trump bromance news to pop up so we can.
But he opened a diner, a Tesla diner. That's huge.
That. I saw that, and then I was like, "Where is it? Oh, California. Oh, never mind." but yeah, that's all.
Eventually, in every major city of the United States.
And they're gonna have robots on roller skates. I mean, what's gonna be the thing? Like Optimus on roller skates?
Oh, that's great. I would love to see an Optimus on roller skates.
Well, that's my Tesla chart. Yeah, I just wanted to start there because it's a beautiful setup. and it's earnings tomorrow. And I don't really trade earnings; I trade the chart. But the chart is really telling a story right before earnings, and in fact, it was really telling a story the previous weeks too, that it wasn't really going lower. So,
I wanted
what
to
about you,
show
Tracker? You seeing anything?
Yeah, let me show you my chart here for TSLA. Thank you, Matt. So let's put the MCDX plus and the RSI away for the moment, and just look at what Tesla did. You guys remember this triangle? This is that giant one that we were stuck in for years and years and years, for what felt like forever. Stuck between under 414.50 to $100 right here. These are 16-hour candlesticks. 16-hour candlesticks. So yeah, from the 414 high, $100 low when Elon was selling shares of Tesla to buy his Twitter. Then we had the 299 high, and then back down to the 143.9 that actually turned out to be 138.81 a month later that I called for it. And then then we get the breakout of this. It looks like 271. And you notice how in this triangle, once it establishes it, we have the high, low, the breakout, the fake out. It looks like a breakout, but it's a fake out. It comes back into it about, I wish I had a fib on this, but almost halfway into the triangle tip here, back onto it, test back to the top, and then we get this huge oscillation, just like a release of years and years of pent-up energy. And that took us to the 488.54 high. And then, like, I don't know how they managed to do it, but they managed to sell it all the way back off down to 214.25. And so all of this energy released, clamped back down, and then now it's being sort of slowly re-released. And we're stuck in this little triangle here again. And so I'm just looking for it to break out, back test. I guess I should really just do like this. A little breakout, back test, and then on up. And I'm looking for this 61.8% fib at 453.25. So, I see the way I'm looking at before the end of September, we'll see 420.69 at least one more time, and then they'll sell it and sell it and sell it, and they'll finally let the market makers will finally relent and let the energy go. 453.25, test back to 362 about, and that's about, I'm thinking spooky October, like October 31st, Halloween, and then it releases it, and we're back on the journey to hopefully get to 748. I just don't know when this is going to be. This could be anywhere here. I keep hoping we'll see it like the end of 2026, but I don't know. It's hard to see it this way on the 16-hour chart. Like when you kind of bisect. I do this a lot. I kind of look at my eye with my eyes. I just kind of bisect all the price action, and this angle of attack really doesn't seem to hit 700 until 2027. I don't know, unless we just get another one of these, like it wave. It'd have to come wave up here, way up here, wave up here. So anyway, the important thing that most people are worried about isn't in the future when it's going to hit 700. It's like, what is it going to do this week? And I think as it is approaching this triangle from below, I mean, it'll probably just go like tomorrow. It should just go sideways. Maybe we get a little bit of a. Let's go to a 1 hour chart. Just a little bit of a bullish wedge down. So we sort of stay inside of. I guess this is a good way to do it. Like a little teeny tiny parallel channel, and so we end up somewhere. If they want to make it look the worst. Right about 320 again, right into the close of the day, but more likely to probably just kind of go sideways. And so we'll end up with something, I don't know, maybe my moving average 75 on the hourly chart, right about here. Maybe we'll We'll stop the day tomorrow at 4 p.m. at 3:59 p.m. about 3:29:17. I want to do that. I'm going to say 3:29:17 at 3:59 p.m. Let's see if we don't get that. That seems very plausible to me. Just kind of go right in the middle. And then, you know, you've heard me talk about these new fibs I'm using. They're Matt's old fibs with a little twist on, added some intermediate fibs and altered some numbers slightly. Then this 29716 is pretty important as a test. It's what I'm looking for. It's like not a combative wave. It's a fib where a lot of price has to be tested one way or the other. And then, this one doesn't have the 11.4. Let's just change this to, these are fib extensions. That's why. Anyway, that's why I'm looking for Tesla. I want to see it go up after the earnings release and the earnings call. And then, see about 362, it drops back to touch the top of the triangle. And then we get to see 420.69, maybe in August. Maybe in August, maybe a little faster than this.
Do you have a position right now, Tesla or TSLA?
I do. I have. Oh, so this is interesting. So because I'm a cheapskate, it's a lot cheaper to buy options for TSLL because it's a cheaper price than Tesla. So I've got like 100, and I think I've got 100 calls for TSLL with a strike price around $20. Let me see if I can pull that up here. My position's just in calls on TSLL right now. I don't have my actual 401k account does not currently have any TSLL or Tesla in it. I've been going nuts trading all these new treasury accounts that are coming out. Let's see. Let me just show this on a bigger chart. Do it here. I know. Always waiting on track. I'm waiting for my trading view to load up here.
One's is a genius, the other's
but at least you can hear my voice while it's doing that. Maybe if I go to the weekly chart. Oh yeah, okay, let's do this.
Chiefs.
So
Matt Johnson. That explains Traeger's internet connection. Cheapskate.
Cheapskate.
I pay off my internet actually.
No, you're caught up to speed now. Thank goodness.
But it's the laptop is cheap. The laptop that I use is cheap. It's like a $325 laptop I got at Christmas or just before.
Do we need another fundraiser?
No. I've got plenty of. I don't need any more fundraisers. I'm fine. I did use the money raised me to get a really lovely mesh network that is running in my house right now, and it's doing fantastic, and it has really helped.
Yeah.
So this TSLL, and here's when Tesla was like 488, and then here's what happened right after that. It runs back down again. I'm looking for it to test at least, it'll go through the halfway point, $23.90. That's halfway between that all-time high and the low we just came off of, that 214 low. 23.90 is the halfway point. It's going to want to test that no matter what. And then probably equal. That's actually, it's funny. 89% higher. Half of that is like 44.5%. Go back to this one. Need more windows. Let's use No. I need all these windows. Let's see. Let's go back to Tesla over here. So 45.5% higher for Tesla takes us back to like 400 again. Like that whole journey we just spent in TSLL. 45.5. Yeah, it's almost it just challenges the previous high without getting over it again. So that's what happened with TSLL over here. Unfortunately, but true.
So you're gonna hold it through earnings.
Yes, these 100 shares of these TSL calls, I'm gonna just hold it through the earnings, sell it when it looks like it's peaking, and then do it all over again. Yeah, it's funny. I was telling some of my subscribers, I tell you, this week has already taken me through the ringer, and it's only Tuesday. I was besides Tesla. What else would we talk about? I won't dictate.
Well, let me show some. Let me
please.
show a couple of things
ahead.
on Tesla chart, then we can move on to to something else maybe. Let me show this real quick here. First is the Bollinger Band here on the weekly. There's some morphology here that looks very similar to what it did over here. You remember this big giant dump that happened? Everybody remembers that big giant dump that happened in January 2023. And then it had the big V-shaped recovery, and then it's just been kind of holding and correcting and trying to wait for the 20-week moving average to really flatten out here before reclaiming it, and decided to move in after that. We kind of got very, very similar morphology here, where we had a big giant dump that happened around March, April 2025, and then we basically have just reclaimed 20-week moving average. Wait for it to kind of turn flat here. Finally, positive sloping here. So I think we're probably going to end up just going up from here. I think it's getting ready to break out. The upper Bollinger Band here is expanding. It's going to allow price to kind of go up here. What happens after that is going to be doing another one of these things, or is actually going to end up breaking out for good. I think it's probably going to be breaking out for good on a higher time frame, because I do think that right now we have successfully reclaimed 20-month moving average from resistance here to support. Usually, if we can hold the 20-month moving average as support, good things happen for for the cycle. And if I just kind of take off that and just do my Ichimoku, and I just simply draw two lines here, which I posted this on X, before. One line there and another line right there. Blah. Where's my line? There you go. Another line right there. Basically, what's happening is you just basically break out this bear market trend line, back test it at the bottom of the Ichimoku cloud. I think this area right here actually looks very similar to that area right there. It's like the bull flag consolidation before like the breakout, although this one's inside the cloud, this one's above the cloud. Consolidating between like the baseline conversion line. I see some similarities, just not that coincidental, although this area over here is a little bit more similar to this COVID flush over here. So either way, it looks like it's forming higher high, higher lows. I think on the higher time frame here, Tesla's going to do just fine. And see if you can sit through volatility. I think that great reward is going to come for this stock. So that's all I got to say about Tesla, guys. Trekker,
I love this chart that you do, because as soon as I look at it, I just see a Gann chart, right? You can see, I can picture the 45-degree angle line going through all that, and you can see the two arcs that it goes through. It's you
and your hallucinations. I mean, like the log Gann is actually very beautiful for this. You can look at like tan, and it gives you some really beautiful market symmetry here. Like it's basically like broke through an arc, back test an arc, moon right here. It got rejected an arc here. It came back test a horizontal, and just push out to the next arc here. It got rejected, back test a horizontal here, push through, back test the arc. It's getting ready. It's consolidating sideways over. It's getting ready to kind of push up here, probably like the 700. Based on the Gann. So yeah, there's really nothing bad about the market symmetry here. I don't. People generally just get emotional for something that's just been fluctuating like this, forming higher highs, higher lows. I mean, I don't know why. Maybe the reason why is because they see like open door like pop 50% a day. They just want to do that. And I mean, I don't know. But this is a beautiful chart. So
yeah. Open Doors chart looks a little bit different than Tesla's chart. So
absolutely, it looks very, very different. People don't care. They see it popping. They don't care. They just like, oh, whatever's hot right now.
Let's just talk about it. Show it. Cat, bring up Open Door. And let's talk about this blow off top that we just had.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's talking about like this is the way I see it. Is it changing its behavior? Yeah, because it was a falling knife. And next thing you know, you got a big giant green candle. The crazy thing is that there's been like pretty big volume, like huge volume selling over here too, which is really, really strange to me. You know, next thing you know, you got a big giant volume pop. And this candle over here is like engulfing all of these like bearish candles over here that happened really since 2024, right? Like basically engulfing the last 18 months of bearish candles, just with one candle so far. We are getting rejected here by up a monthly Bollinger Band, but we are reclaiming the 20-month moving average here a little bit. We are also getting rejected here on a monthly Kijun, right? And it's kind of funny how these things work. We are kind of getting rejected here at the 2-week Ichimoku cloud, right? So we are having a little bit of a katana here, so it's a little bit tricky here in terms of like, you know, what's going to happen. The key thing though is that I would not buy this thing where it is at right now. I don't care like how much short squeeze there is. I don't care how much volume there is. It's just got like a very nasty shooting star candle here so far. Is way about the weekly Bollinger Band here. I just don't like this setup here. You know, like I guess if you're looking initially like, okay, so if I buy the breakout here, that would have been a very profitable strategy. And then if you would have like sold like somewhere up here, that would be a very profitable strategy. But to get in now, I think that's not, you know, a very smart thing to do. It's also been kind of way outside of daily upper Bollinger Band here too, you know, so I don't know. I just don't really want to get into that. It could keep on just going to the moon and track the Bollinger Band up along with it. It can, but I just don't see it being like a good setup. It's just like way overextended right now. I think the move, like the major move, has already been played out, and you know, I think if you end up chasing it now, it might close on you. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
All right, somebody take over, man. You know,
well, somebody's asking for your CLSK analysis personally too. So yeah,
okay.
let's do
we
that.
We can do CLSK personally. So this is my monthly chart. I mean, basically, it's looking bullish. If you're talking about like a bunch of miners, CLSK and Mara is lagging behind. There are a couple other miners that actually are showing like they're actually reaching the monthly upper Bollinger Band. And the monthly upper Bollinger Band is actually starting to expand, you know, telling you that like more impulsive price action is going to happen. CleanSpark's lagging because it's just now trying to reclaim the 20-month moving average. The fact that it's reclaiming the 20-month moving average is promising. The fact that it's reclaiming the Ichimoku cloud is promising. The fact that it's reclaiming the monthly, you know, Tenkan over here is promising. And also the fact that it's trying to challenge the 0.618 over here is promising, right? Like it's basically got rejected here at the 0.786, and then it basically tried. I still believe that to be the case, which is crazy to think about because if the cycle ends in like 6 months, then you know, like how is that going to be a wave 3, right? I don't know. I mean, I'm only telling you kind of what I'm speculating here, but we're trying to reclaim 0.618 here. We got rejected here. We got rejected here. That's a big level, right? We even got rejected over here. That's a pretty big level. We are reclaiming that. Then I think it's going to gravitate up here to the 0.786. And that's going to be also the top Ichimoku cloud. That's a very confluent zone. We also got rejected over here too. So if we push through that, and that's going to take months and months and months to do, I don't really anticipate it like to immediately do it, just like push through. I think it's going to take months and months and months to do. But if it ends up pushing through that level where we got rejected over here last time, and that's also where the top Ichimoku cloud is, then you're talking about some higher levels after that, right? How, like, I usually want to take one level at a time. I think Matt usually says that too. I think he's absolutely correct. Right now, we're still battling the 0.618. Right now, we're still battling the, you know, 20-month moving average. We're still got some work here to do. But overall, this is a pretty, you know, decent chart here. If you also look at the weekly here, I also kind of shown this on X here as well. If you just look at the Ichimoku, it's trying to break inside the weekly Ichimoku here by just going sideways, right? Right now, we're in, you know, we're kind of got the Ichimoku cloud here as an unsuspected bet partner here. We just kind of go sideways and we're in, you know. And we're still holding the 0.618 over here very well as well. And then on top of that, no pun intended, on top of that, you're also kind of breaking above this log, bearish trend line over here too. Yeah, so I see some pretty decent like breakout things that's happening with Clean Spark. I think the next levels, I mean, after it fights through like, the top Ichimoku cloud here, if it ends up doing that and not coming back down and breaking down, backtest, whatever, then it goes up here to the top of the cloud here around $16, and eventually it's going to grab up to 0.786 here around $21.50. When that's going to be, I don't know, but I see great things here for Clean Spark, and I don't really see any particular reason for me to like sell right here. I think a lot of people are going to end up trying to sell here, like the 0.76. They just want to break even, but then that's when you are really selling to, potential momentum to break out, because it's the second time it's going to challenge the 0.76 when it gets there, and you have a higher chance to do that, when you get there, especially when the sentiment is not that great. So that's all I got to say about Clean Spark.
Nice.
And you can kind of see, if you just look at your 50% fib, your 0.5 fib there, you can see it got over it. It got back over it, tested back to it. Had a little bit of weakness there, but it eventually tested back over it one more time and then pushed it up higher. So I don't think it's going to come back down below that again. It might make it it could do a little feint towards it, but I don't think it's going to go below that 50% level again.
Yeah, like I see it going back to like some level. Yeah. And the Bollinger Band on the weekly is also expanding too. I think it's setting up a bull trend here. I think it's got more room for it to go up. So so I favor it to kind of go up there, maybe even potentially to like 15, 16, battle that zone, and then may have to do some shenanigans, but eventually it's going to get to 0.76. So I don't have to worry about the exact move, that makes, because I'm not really trying to trade these smaller moves. I think that it wants to get up to 0.76. So I'm just going to sit tight and see what happens.
You get the luxury of being right from a very low cost basis.
yeah, that's right. I mean, like, this is where I bought, right? I bought Clean Spark at this dip right, Spark, like kind of at the bottom of this range over here. I bought Clean Spark over here. I bought Clean Spark over here. I'm not buying it anymore. I think my average is like around 10 or something like that. So I'm just gonna let it run. But yeah, that's why I have to say about it. And then somebody asked about Mara. Of course, you can't talk about Clean Spark without talking about Mara. Maybe, I don't know. It's a very, very similar concept. I think it's one of the ones that are lagging. I'm just going to go through it real quick. Try and reclaim the 20-month moving average. Good thing is Bollinger Band here is squeezing. It's been going sideways here, doing nothing for about 2 years. Of course, the Bollinger Band is going to squeeze. That tells you a bigger move is going to come. If it reclaims 20-month moving average and it gets to upper Bollinger Band over here, then I think the big move is going to be up, right? If you also look at the 2-month here too, like this is really like the first time where you're starting to have a Bollinger Band squeeze here on the 2-month, and you also basically reclaiming the 40-month moving average, and the Bollinger Band starting to kind of expand here. So it probably wants to grab it up here to upper Bollinger Band. Eventually, it's probably going to going up when it expands. I'm not really seeing like anything bearish over here, but it is still trying to battle resistance here. It's lagging because it's trying to fight the monthly tank in the kitchen or conversion base over here. So it's got more room for it to work. It's a little bit delayed compared to Clean Spark, but it's the same theme, right? Top of the Ichimoku cloud is 0.786. So if it breaks the 0.786 and top of Ichimoku cloud on a monthly, then, I mean, I don't know, Uranus maybe up somewhere up here. I don't know. It's promising. And also with the Bollinger Band squeeze like that, like a big move's going to come, whenever it's done squeezing and whenever it's expanding. So it's going to smelt the whole room. But I don't mind that. I've got my handkerchief, whatever, ready. So whatever it wants to do. Look, the weekly Bollinger Band is also expanding too. So I think it's got a little bit more room. It's also got the weekly Ichimoku cloud up here that needs to battle right around the 0.618 here. Very interesting the fact that these levels have like a lot of influence. So we will see what happens, but this is one of the laggards, and I don't see it looking bad. I just think that it just needs to, I mean, it's not lagging as bad as like Bitfarms, but
hey, Bitfarms made a move today, man.
It did. It squeezed up, I mean, I can just show that here real quick too. It's got a
just do all the miners. Come on,
somebody asked about HIVE anyway. like I think that Bitfarm still got more room to go. 20-month moving average is only up here. It's got a bullish engulfing candle here on decent volume. This whole sell over here is on declining volume. So I think this bullish engulfing candle with increasing volume here is probably signifying like a trend change is happening. If you look at the weekly here, you can see a beautiful double bottom over here. You can see that the 20-week moving average has been reclaimed. You can see the bullish band looks like it wants to expand. It looks like we got some pretty decent volume here for this breakout. And it looks like Bollinger Band, when it expands, is probably going to end up, letting price kind of ride up to the upside here. Because of this big giant downtrend on declining volume, I think that the sellers are like completely exhausted, and you have a beautiful double bottom here. So I would not be surprised if this move becomes like really extremely impulsive, going all the way up to like the 20-week moving average in a hurry. Like I would not be surprised if that happens. But you still got a lot of resistance up above, so I think you have to kind of be a little bit more careful and more mindful. Somebody asked about HIVE, it's basically doing the same thing. Huge volume over here, not much volume on the way down, huge volume here over the last 4 months. It looks like it wants to get back to the 0.382. It looks like it wants to get at least closer to the 20-month moving average. It looks like it wants to hit some of these monthly conversion baselines up here. So it looks like it wants to do something like that. With the volume that is coming, I think it's probably going to end up, happening. If you look at the weekly bullish band here too, it's also like just reclaimed 20-week moving average. It looks like also expanding. So I think it's got more juice to kind of go up maybe another dollar or two, and then we'll see what happens right at the resistance at the 0.382, with everything else here. But also the top of the cloud over here on the weekly. So yeah, it's lagging. I don't have much else to say about it. I'm kind of like already talk about a lot of stuff, so you guys want to take over and talk about something else?
Yeah, I actually wanted to talk about Coinbase because there has been some concern about toppiness. So I think it's a good segue into some crypto stuff too that people are curious about too. I see some requests for Doge and other stuff, but yeah, here's my Coinbase chart with nothing on it, right? Linear scale, just looking at it. And as we know, it hit all-time high territory and it got rejected. So does that mean it's not going to break out? Does that mean it's going to retrace right now? That seems to be the consensus on X when I go and peruse the coin, hashtag, whatever you call it, that perhaps it's going to consolidate and maybe backtest levels. And 384 could be that first target. But technically, it already did backtest it after it broke out 2 weeks ago. So I don't know if it's really necessary. Plus, I have some interesting confluence of current zones of support, really. And I'm not talking about Bollinger Bands or anything. If I just do a recent fib from the high to the low, you can just see that it's kind of trying to maintain that 1.272, the 406.10. Also, the 435.52 got rejected. So that's not like a random number why it got rejected into the 440s. It just wicked above the 1.414, the 435.52. And now it's looking like it's range bound. So I think it really has a potential to maybe stay above that 406 by the end of the week and perhaps even build a base in that zone. Not only that, if we use a trend-based fib that I know Tracker loves to use from the high to low, you can see it actually backtested the one level, the 394.51, right? It did a breakout backtest, and now it maybe can build a base on top of that 394, and it just did that today too. So because of that, it might actually not need to go any lower, and it has potential to just keep going higher and higher and higher and higher. I just think it looks like a beautiful chart, and if I saw anything below the 390s, I think that would be a fantastic opportunity because that is that 886 fib, right? But I don't even know if it's going to get there because today was a perfect back test of this trend-based fib right here. And also going back to this fib, it's right here, 406.10, right? So let's see where this week closes. And I think if this 400 zone basically continues to hold as a support, I think coin has a better chance of maybe continuing to melt up than to correct, which is something that I know a lot of people don't believe, but we'll find out.
Hey, Matt, do me a favor, hit Control Z, go back to the other one, the first one you had, not the first one, the second one you had. Control Z again.
I already controlled Z too many times. You mean the trend-based trend-based fib?
Do the one that's no, the one that's before that, a little higher. Yeah, go from, I can't see, 325 to 160.
Oh, this
right
one right
there.
here?
Yeah, do that one
Yeah,
again.
okay. Yeah, okay.
All right, now double click your fibs and add this fib ratio. Add anywhere, just pick one. 1.168.
Yeah, that's 384. That actually lines up with the 886 right there, too.
Yeah, okay. So it's just, I think it's the 886 backwards or something. But yeah. Interesting. That's a fib level I'm looking at a lot these days. Once we get past the 100%, and if it's partway between the 100% and the 1272, then I look at that 1168 now.
Yeah. So if these things continue to hold levels, especially if this 406.10 keeps holding us support, then I think Coinbase might just want to continue the journey higher. So it looks super, super good to me. I'm not scared of any no back test. I ain't afraid of no back test.
Yeah, you never are. Yeah, your tramp stamps got you ready for anything. So.
Hey, I mean, at least I'm not typing in the chat 2 in the pinky and 1 in the... And somebody doesn't want to ride a wave; they want to ride an eggplant. I don't know. Somebody's pretty frisky tonight. Not going to point any fingers, but
this is the after hours special show that we get to do.
After dark. This is crypto after dark, and we got to talk in our sexy voices now.
Yeah, there's the professional morning show and then after dark Skinemax show. This is it. No, but I'm not going to talk too much about Coinbase. I mean, it's one of the 11 stocks that I think is going to be Palantiring soon. I'm going to release that video, in a little bit. But the key thing here is that, just ignore everything else. Just look at that beautiful monthly Bollinger Band expansion. It's becoming more and more impulsive to the upside. And whenever you see something like this is what happened last time before Palantir decided to just go up a lot higher. Not Tesla. Not you. Not you. You're Palantir. Just before Palantir decided to moon, you started to have a little bit of Bollinger Band expansion over here. And I think that's kind of a very, very similar move that we're seeing over here because of the impulsivity move that we've had up after it's consolidating sideways over here for like a whole year. After it consolidated sideways over here for a whole year, right? You started to get a little bit of, not to say that, it's not possible for it to have any kind of retracement. It's always possible. But I also believe that with something this impulsive, there is a chance if it decides to go Palantiring that it may not have to have any significant pullback. Even if it does, it could just be a bleep on like a monthly chart, right? So I do see some beautiful things happening. If you want to learn more about the Coinbase as well as the other 10 tickers that could be Palantiring, I will be releasing a video later on YouTube. So that's all I have to say about it.
Oh yeah, the special Let's Go Palantiring video. That should be a T-shirt, by the way. Let's Go Palantiring.
it would be a good T-shirt, yeah. But
technically, that's you take a verb and you add an ing onto it. That's called a gerund.
Yeah. Do you have anything you want to show, Tracker?
Yeah, actually, I teased it before the show, and I talked to my followers about it and my subscribers, and I need to talk about my phobias now. We need to get what I'm worried about here is just a little short-term back test, and maybe you guys can either say, yeah, it's plausible, or you just say, no, it's impossible. Well, we never say anything's impossible, but yeah. So anyway, Bitcoin, I kind of drew this chart up that had this this horizontal GAN line here right at what is this, 122,800, and we wicked over that and then went back and then tried to test it again. Couldn't get to it, got to this 1618. So here's where I did it from here. Just 100% is 112,000. And then back down to the 98,240 that we went down to after that. And then we came up to the, here's that test of the 100% level pulls back to the 889. We talk about 886, but I've discovered since then it's really 8888888 for infinity, and so I kind of rounded up to 0.8889. Back to that, and then goes to the 100%. Then goes through. It doesn't even stop at this 168 or the 1272. It goes above the 1414, tests back to the 1414, and then goes up to this this horizontal GAN line I've got about 122,800. The wick is the maximum energy, but then when you come back the second time, that's where it's more precise, and you can see it really does go right through that level. Drops back to the 1272, tries the 1618 again. Again, it gets a lot of energy, kind of gets over it, but then it tries to backtest the 1414, and then it does not do the 1272. And so this is where we are right now. We're up here backtesting this 1618 again. And so I'm wondering if it can't get over 120, what I'm thinking, it's not wondering, I'm worrying. If it can't get over this 1618 at 125.04, it gets sent back to test this 1618 that it blew through way back in July 10th. So this is my thesis, is that we get one more test back from 125.04 to 114.312. It's about a 5% pullback. And then I'm worried about its effect on the other, the other cryptos. Here's XRP with about a 8% pullback, 8.5% pullback. All I did here was I just took this horizontal line and I kind of picked where, right here where price crossed through this GAN arc, right there. Ethereum, maybe like a 7.5% pullback would bring it back to this linear scale Bollinger Band. Here's the top of the Bollinger Band, bottom of the Bollinger Band. The red part here is the alligator tongue. This one's, I used to color them like this. The tongue of the alligator, it's like Danny likes to see the alligator get real hungry and open his mouth. There's his tongue. So back test of the tongue, about 7.5% back. And then Solana here, it got really hot. And I'm thinking maybe it also tries to get back to the tongue. To the 88888 would be where price is right now. That's like 11%. Maybe it just touches, maybe just go back to the 100%. That's about 8%. I don't know. This is what I kind of freaked out today. I don't know. Like I said, I feel like I've been through the ringer this week, and it's only Tuesday. Because Monday was that super elation. Like everything was like, my portfolio was back to like the highest it's ever hit on Monday. And then it's like, oh, I should have sold that. Because then ever since then, it's been testing back lower levels. And I'm just, sometimes I feel like I'm my own worst enemy. My portfolio is like, it just can't seem to I can't seem to keep it above this certain level. Anyway. Yeah. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
I got a daily chart to show you why I don't think it's going to go lower. Here it is. So I showed Kat and you guys earlier this. So it broke above. This is my daily chart. I showed Kat the 4-hour chart actually and tracker. But this daily chart, I think, is showing something beautiful. It had this arc basically as a resistance, and then it broke out of the green level. And once it broke out, I think I was mentioning that like a while ago, that once it broke this level, that's like the final boss. I think I had an X post about it, and then it's just going to go higher. And that's exactly what it did. And the reason why I don't really think it's going to go lower now is because if you just do a linear scale fib, basically from the high to the low here, we can see it's kind of maintaining the 1.272, right? It did try to get a little bit below it, but just this last daily candle finally closed back above. And it just happened a few minutes ago, 15 minutes ago. So something that spent the last 4 days below that 1.272 just reclaimed it right now with the bullish engulfing candle. And also it's 118.855. So that's the zone I'm really looking at now for potential support. And if this holds, then we're not going to go lower. And then if this does hold, then we're probably going to go to the 123. And then we'll go to the log-based fib right up here at the 1.414, which is the 128.09. So that's basically our next resistance zone right there, 128 down to the 123. And I think, yeah, 118.855, hold that. It's probably going to continue the journey higher.
Let's see.
That
was your log scale 141, you say?
The log scale is the 141. Yes, the daily chart is my linear scale.
Yep, that's exactly the linear fib I was just looking at. I just clicked it to make it log scale, and I can see just what you're talking about.
Yeah. So that's what I just think it keeps on breaking levels, and the retraces are very shallow. Yeah. So, and this bullish engulfing candle that we just had that closed 15 minutes ago is a conviction candle for me. It's telling me that it wants to stay above, it wants to go higher, it wants to build a base at a higher level. And I think that's the direction it's going to go. And I think altcoins are going to follow too.
All right. Well, I hope you're right. And even though it's my subscribers and are going to be really upset with me because I went to cash today. I pulled back out a whole bunch of positions today, thinking that we're going to get one more little back test. Because here, let's see, we've been doing things like HYPD and GAME and SBET, and I've been in this VVPR, which is here. Let's see. Show my screen for a few minutes here. Thanks. All right, so here is HYPD, Hyperion DeFi, and it really looks like it wanted to hold. So I did. If you go linear scale, no, this is a log scale chart, but these are linear scale fibs. Is that right? Yes. So log scale chart, but I might as well make a linear scale chart. Yeah. So from this high up here at 1933 back to, I went the wrong way. From this low to that high. Usually you go from this high to this low. Let's see what that looks like. I spend all day just moving these fibs around now. That's like my life. It's just,
you got to make sure they align with your bias. I understand.
That should be a t-shirt. That's great. Yeah, here it is holding up this 1111. We talked about the 11.4. We talked about the 11.4 for a long time. Matt and I as a mini boss. And I also, just like this one's the 88888, and this one's like actually the 111111. And you can see it held up right here, still holding. I was worried about it coming back down to touch the top of this 141 again, which would be, oh, no, that's too much. That's way too much. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with my brain. Maybe, I mean just is 2025 has fried my brain. But what I'd like to see, my bullish angel on my shoulder says that it's going to go to the 50%. It won't. Well, it's already did the 50%. Got over it. Went back below. Maybe one more time. It gets over the 50%. Test back to the 382 support, and then it can go on to. Well, this is a chart that I've been working with up until today, this afternoon, when I just freaked out and changed my mind about everything. But I think this wants to go to $25, which is HYPD from where price is right now. Oh, I've already got that. It's 112% higher. And then BMNR. I did this the right side, the right direction. Oh, it goes back farther. This is a 15-minute chart. Where did I get this 100% from?
Uranus.
I know, right? So anyway, my BMNR chart. This is what I wanted to see it do, but I'm just worried that it's going to touch. This is what I'm worried about. I'm worried that it's going to touch back to this this moving average 75 down here, like meet it halfway, about 32.70. These are the kinds of things that make me lose sleep. That's about, 10% drop. Anyway, it's just all cash. I can buy everything back tomorrow. Just That's really
Sorry,
good.
continue.
Recorder? Or that's not a penny whistle. No, that's definitely a recorder.
It's a
That's a
recorder.
recorder.
It's a recorder. Yeah, I just play that out of like the blue. But anyway, yeah.
Here's my idea.
Well, what about Cat? I'm curious.
Oh, just here's
never
my
mind.
idea that open door. Maybe I'm too late for this. After running up and then checking back down to the halfway point, it runs back up. The 786 is resistance, so it comes back down, and now it's losing the 50% level and backtesting it as resistance before it goes lower. I just thought maybe it would do the 618 one more time, but now that I'm looking at it, it's like, oh, that's what this was. It already went back to the 786. Lost the 50%, and now wants to go to the 298 next. I kind of want to do a whole show, not a triumvirate necessarily, but I need to do a tutorial or something about these fibs. These fib levels right here, and the ones that I've got colored in red, are the ones where price must argue. Like if you get over, like when price is was up here, say like 493, and then it gets sent back down. And previously, the low was 50 cents. But now it gets down to 11.4 or the 1111, about $1. This is where a lot of these charts that are struggling, they start to reclaim these levels, and it'll go, once it gets over the 114, that's going to fight the 298, and then it'll look for support. Or like maybe it'll break. If it doesn't get the 298 first time, it goes back to the 236 or the 114. But in the second time, it gets over the 298 to like the 382, back to the 298. And then it tries to do the 50%, and then 50% sends it back to the 382, or it gets to the 618, back to the 50%, to the 786. So like I love these red fibs as contention points, and they've been working out really well on all sorts of time scales. And so you can almost do a chart where instead of doing my Fibonacci extensions on the right based on the wave start, wave 1, wave 2, you can always just look at these, just find anything that did a retracement from, 1 to 0. Yeah, and then on the way back up. So now it checks out all these levels. And you can just draw, you can watch it as points of contention, from like the 0 to the 11.4, from the 0 to the 298, etc. Anyway, yeah. Ow! That's much better than hot cross buns.
Hello, everybody. Sorry, continue. Jeopardy theme song, yes.
Thank you. I used to hum that to my wife whenever she was taking extra long on her turns.
All right.
It gets her so mad.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know whether or not it's going to go down. I think that there's always that possibility whenever things are getting close to all-time high. But I did do a couple of posts, last night, whenever I was seeing that it was kind of breaking down over here, and everybody was kind of very bitter. And I think it was one of those things that market makers are extremely, extremely good about manipulating your emotions, because they are just like that. They know what to do. They have all these playbooks over the years. They're like, Mondays, screw you, just basically just like pump the market up pre-market, and the next thing you just drag and rug pull everybody down, get everybody all demoralized, and then Tuesday got a pretty decent turnaround. The entire thing, this is an 8-hour chart with a Bollinger Band. I was looking at this last night whenever Bitcoin looks like it was going to fall down to the floor to like 116K or whatever. I was looking at this, I was like, Bollinger Band squeezing. You know, I don't think it's going to end up just pushing through it. You're going to end up being rubber band back into the mean over here. And that's kind of what happened last night. Left a pretty decent wake up here. And then sure enough, because it couldn't break down, it grabbed the liquidity down below. And I was also looking at like the liquidity, you know, heat map, and there was like a lot of liquidity down below here to be grabbed. You know, you shouldn't go around and grab people, by the way. That's not, you know, that's not but it looks like there's a lot of liquidity down here to be grabbed, and those degens are like, grab me, and they like just end up getting grabbed. And next thing you know, it just end up just bouncing from the low Bollinger Band. If you didn't break down, you don't die. Usually it tends to, you know, gravitate back up to upper Bollinger Band. Now you got a little bit of a different picture here, because over here it was the Bollinger Band was squeezing, right? So you have a hard time breaking through, breaking down. Now you start to get a little bit of Bollinger Band expansion, right? Now it's starting to try to ride up here on upper Bollinger Band here. It's not like overstretched into a tight, you know, sphincter, if you will. It's actually kind of opening up to a little bit of expansion here. So I don't know whether or not it's going to be one of those moves that's like a little bit of a lame thing, like where, oh yeah, a little bit of expansion here, and then come back down and back test this, whatever median, you know, line or whatever you call it, kind of like it did over here before the real breakout. Or is this like, you know, like the real breakout is going to happen soon because you got a pretty decent Bollinger Band squeeze here, pretty decent Bollinger Band squeeze here. I don't know, but I just don't think that it would necessarily end up having to break down, because of like the market makers seem to have played this very beautifully, and it really got a lot of people demoralized on a Monday. Like, I don't think you're the only one, Tracker. I think a lot of folks are really scared, especially when things are near all-time high. Ethereum has just been pumping. But yeah, the other thing,
it's like repeated the whole first quarter all over again in a microcosm.
Yeah, everybody
Monday was January.
Yeah, I mean, everybody just kind of remember what exactly happened. But we had a breakout, you know, on Ethereum, and I've been showing this like angry face chart here for a very long time, right? Like we basically had 3 cycles here with this trend line breakdown. This time here was, you know, pretty brutal here for about, you know, 3 months, and then next thing you know, once you break back about boom town, right? Here you have COVID, you end up having a little breakdown here with some wig, but after about a month or so, you break back above, and next thing you know, it's like boom town, right? Here we end up spending about 4 or 5 months underneath over here. We had a bearish backtest here, couldn't push through, but ended up having a pretty decent cup and handle here, push through now, right? So it should be boom town happening soon. I don't know whether or not, like you said, it's going to pull back down a little bit lower. I think it's possible, because I do think that right now Ethereum is a little bit overstretched above the weekly Bollinger Band. So having a pullback all the way down to like the upper Bollinger Band around 55,080, somewhere around there, is not unreasonable, right? But I just don't know if it has to go down that far, because the trend is pretty impulsive. You know, if you look at the you look at, like, you know, a lot of different time frames here. It's a little bit overextended here about the 3-day, but looks like the trend is still wanting to kind of keep going, right? Weekly Bollinger Band is still fully expanded. So I'm going to give it a benefit of the doubt here. There's still more room to go up here to upper Bollinger Band here on the monthly as well. So yeah, so I don't know whether or not it's going to necessarily go down like 7% or anything like that. I just think the market makers have been playing this one beautifully, and it's been getting a lot of people kind of bitter and kind of upset here. Even right now, like, just look at like the daily chart here for Ethereum. You know, it still looks like a beautiful bull flag here so far, right? And the volume here is actually not much over here during this consolidation. So it can always like bark down, I suppose, but I just don't really necessarily see that has to happen, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I don't know. Yeah. The thing about it, if I don't know, I don't do anything. I just hold Ethereum, I just hold Bitcoin, I just let them do their thing, because higher time frame, they still look pretty bullish to me, you know. But if you want to trade these moves, I don't know if I would necessarily say like the downward 7% is like a high probability move. It's possible, but I just don't know if I would want to like short it, you know, I guess is what I'm trying to say, especially if the trend is so bullish. So, well,
I'm not shorting, except for SBET. I'm not sure. I'm not shorting. Oh, in Solana. SBET and Solana. I'm shorting Solana by using SOLT is what it is.
I think I'm okay. Like, if you want to short SBET, you want to see like retracing back to the mean, I completely get it. You know, like that's not an issue, because it is overextended. You know, and it could probably use some cooldown and maybe like some gap close or whatever. I think it's plausible. Even if Ethereum goes up a lot higher, SBET can still end up correcting its moves because it's made like some pretty giant move over here and needs to go sideways and consolidate. So I can see you shorting it, you know, but yeah, but I'm not sure about like Ethereum. Let me see Solana actually. I thought Solana actually also looked pretty bullish. Do I even have Solana on here? Huh.
You
want to show that? Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. I just want to show the weekly chart simply for the fact that it's breaking out. Right, it's breaking above my arc again. It's breaking above some levels, and we can even put on the fibs right here and just show you that it's back above the final boss, right? The 886 from the last cycle. So 174 up to the 187. It looks like that is basically going to be flipped to support now. So for me, shorting breakouts is a little bit risky. Yes, this is kind of a resistance zone up here in the past. We can see like it did have a battle up there before back in 2024, but ultimately it's back above the arc. It's back above the 886. It's even back inside the weekly Ichimoku cloud now too. So this is looking better and better and just has a little bit more room to go to break that cloud. And then once it can flip the arc and the cloud to support, it's off to all-time highs. And then after that, 600s, thousands, maybe even 2,000, who knows? But this is something that's bullish, right? Shorting breakouts is never my style. I think breakouts, they happen for a reason in a bull cycle, and usually with confirmation with a weekly candle close that's coming this Sunday, it should confirm that it wants to continue the journey higher.
I'm usually the one telling people that, you know, we need the shorts to try to short at the top so that they can get liquidated and blow the thing up even higher. Not usually.
Yes, thank you for your service.
But because of the well laid up thesis that Matt has just played out here with this beautiful breakout, watch Tracker be right in his short sprint.
Yeah,
anything goes in short time frame is what the markets will teach you. Well, you guys have really cheered me up, especially the chart with the frowny faces cat. I like that a lot, and then the comments are hilarious. One person asked, "Can you summon a snake?" And the answer is yes, he can, but it's not the snake you think about. So don't ask him to do that.
A trouser snake.
Snakes, they have some. Yeah, I like the skin that they left behind. Anyway, I'm just gonna not talk about that anymore.
Wait. Fat Chin demands a segment called Recorder Mondays.
We will see. We will see about that. Maybe we can do some spaces or something with just Recorder. But
all right. Well, I feel like I've taken enough of the show with my negative Nancy Nellies. What do we call them? Negative Nellies. So yeah, let's do some uplifting stuff.
Yeah.
Well, let's. There's been a couple of requests for Doge, so let's just get that out of the way here. And I'll just pull up my chart from the high to the low, the fib there. It's actually just maintaining the 0.2626, the 618, and it can't get inside the cloud yet, but it's basically working on it, right? It's trying to. And the good thing about it is back above the baseline and the 618. So I think we can just see Doge maybe just build a base a little bit longer before it's ready to make its next move higher. And the symmetry of this chart was very beautiful. Previous resistance of the arc here, breakout back test back in April. So yeah, we're probably going to get follow through, continuation higher sooner than later. And I'm just watching 2626 as a potential support.
Let me just say that the most entertaining outcome being the most probable would see, Elon Musk, even though he's not a natural born citizen, becomes president of the United States through some change of the laws, and then Dogecoin replaces the U.S. dollar as the currency of the world.
I mean, it's less inflationary than the U.S. dollar, so there we go.
So much wow.
It's only like 3% inflation a year or something like that. It's not that bad. Yeah.
No.
Doji. Yeah, no, I only request maybe you have like the last 15 minutes to go through a lightning round, but you guys can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about.
I think people want to see your Doge chart though, because you're
Yeah.
the Doge man. I'm the XRP boy.
No,
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
Fartcoin.
I'll show XRP after you show Doge.
Okay.
Come on, cat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not much else to really say about Doge. I mean, I think Doge is bullish. It's always been looking pretty decent here. I actually think that this whole, like, you know, how many inside candles you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 inside candles here so far. I think it's very, very similar to what we had over here. You got to, you know, pre-breakout rising 3 methods here, because what I mean by rising 3 is you got like a monthly candle over here that's pretty bullish, and you got 3 bearish candles, couldn't really break below this bullish candle over here. Next thing you know, the bulls sniffed out the weakness in the bears, and they just say, hey, screw y'all, I'm going to do a bullish engulfing candle, and just kind of pump the thing up. You know, that's kind of what happens with that. You know, over here, what are we seeing here? Well, we got very similar situation. You know, you got all these inside candles here. Bears couldn't really break below this candle over here, and bulls are sniffing it out. And I think like very similar things happening. You look at the 2 month, it's basically the same thing, right? Rising 3 methods, right? 1, 2, 3. And right now you got a bullish engulfing candle over here that's really been building up here on the 2 month. So I think that it's also during the process also reclaiming the 20 month moving average. You did end up having a little bit of a close below that last month back in June, but that also happened over here too before that breakout. You know, you had that October 2020 candle that just kind of closed underneath the 20 month moving average. But you do have like a little bit of uprising 20 month moving average here, just kind of pushed up here. You do have a little bit of Bollinger squeeze that's happening here, so maybe it gets re-expanded. I don't know yet, but I'm not really that bearish here on Dogecoin. I cannot be, right? Even look at the weekly here. Initially, it was a little bit overextended, but now it kind of touched the upper Bollinger Band here again. It's expanding. It looks like it wants to keep going higher. You know, I don't, you know, you already showed the Ichimoku. You got resistance up here above. You got a lot of different resistance zone up here above. But the momentum is with Doge, as far as I'm concerned. If you look at the 2 week Ichimoku here, you know, it's also getting rejected here by the baseline. But basically, it's just broke down underneath the base conversion back to double bottom over here. The target of this should be really a breakout, you know, and I think it's just kind of playing out. It's trying to cool down after these big moves up here, after, you know, you got to get a little bit outside the Bollinger Band here. It's trying to cool down here on a lower time frame, but overall, Doge still looks pretty good. Now, if you ask me what the targets are that I'm thinking for Doge, I've always kind of shown this before. Last cycle, it just kind of went bananas, and it just went all the way down, up to like the 2.272 log fib, right? Here, we are not as bullish as I was before, because I do think that the market cap, if you end up doing like $23.25, I think it's like a few $1 trillion market cap for Doge, which is not something that I think would be, you know, a likely scenario. Do I think that it could hit 1.272, 1.44, or 1.618, which is around like $4? I think it's entirely possible. When is that going to happen? I don't know. I mean, people saying that the cycle is going to end, and like the 4-year cycle is going to end in a few months. If that's the case, we don't have a whole lot of time to get up there. You know, but I guess it's possible if it wants to get up there in a hurry, but we don't really have that much time. So maybe we get a little bit of a lengthened cycle. I don't know, because this whole cup over here is a lot longer than this cup over here. You know, so and this has been forming higher highs and higher lows. So I don't know when people are saying that, hey, you know, it's bearish over here. I don't know what they're talking about, because it's just a higher low and people get bearish at higher lows. So yeah, that's all I have to say about Doge. You want me to talk about Fartcoin? I can.
Oh yeah,
Yo, yeah, fart it up. Stink up the room.
Yeah, if you
I found this toy at Costco called Fart Ninjas. I'd never seen it before.
That.
I had to take a picture and send it to Kat and Matt to show them. It's a real toy. You go to Costco right now in the toy section, find it. Fart Ninjas.
No,
they've got this little light sensor in the front. You like move your hand over it and they make fart noises.
Yeah, this is pretty bullish, like Fart Ninjas. You know, I think it's nobody's really like, people don't really talk about Fartcoin. I think they talk about it as a joke, but that's pretty much it. But the chart looks incredibly bullish. You know, like if you look at this beginning up here to the top up here, do a FIB sequence here, you see that it's just been holding between the loft of 0.786 and 0.86 here perfectly. Like it's beautiful. It got rejected at 0.86, because what happens if you break a 0.86, right? You're talking about some crazy moon stuff, right? It couldn't just do it on the first try. It has to kind of, come back down, grab some liquidity, back test some stuff. Decided to just go to 0.786 here and holding it. And right now it's breaking about the 0.86. So to me, I think some all-time high stuff is coming for Fartcoin. I mean, I don't really see any other way, to be honest. If you look at some other things too, if you look at the Blue support band here, I haven't seen that for a while, but it flipped that for resistance here to support, right? And you also look at the Ichimoku. We just had a bullish crossover here last week on the weekly chart, and it's above the base and above the conversion, about the 0.86. So that tells me that I think that higher stuff is coming. I don't really see it any other way, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't care what it's called, but this chart is bullish to me. If anything, it just looks like a breakout of like a big giant cup and handle. So it's a
like
bullish
an Adam
chart.
Eve, but like Eve is like Quattro from Total Recall.
Thank you for the imagery. Right. So I do have like, I think I wrote down like maybe 10 or 11 charts or something like that to run through. But if you guys want to talk about anything else before I do the lightning round.
Yeah, I was just gonna show XRP since it had another highest ever daily candle close, barely. But, yeah, I want to show you all the. I think barely, yeah, barely. But anyways, I just wanted to show you the 2-week chart just to show you the whole picture of everything, and I want to show you the confluence of fibs. Right, we're gonna first start off with the previous all-time high to the low. Yes, it's building a base on top of that 331.7. And this is Bitstamp. I guess you're going to have different all-time highs and different exchanges, but I prefer this one because it has the most data on here. But that's one example. So this is why I don't think it's going to retrace that much, right? So it's above that, building a base on top. Not only that, we can use a different fib, just a more recent one from the high to the low here, and it's actually just broke above the 1.272. And that's the 332.003, which is essentially the same exact zone. Then we got the $4 and the $6 above that is later. So that's more confluence that it doesn't really want to have a big back test. And not only that, we can go back way in the beginning of the time and just use the fib that was basically from 2013 and down here in 2014. And look at that. It's finally closing candles above the 2.272 that it's never done that before. And that's at 309. So if anybody's expecting XRP to crash, I just think they're mistaken. And I think 330, 340, that zone looks fantastic if it ever were to get back down there. And all signs are pointing to like $8, $9 at a minimum, maybe even much higher. So we'll see. But this is a super bullish chart, and I think it still is one of the most bullish charts in all of crypto right now.
It must be true because there was an article recently.
Bitcoin. Yeah, it was in an article on the Crypto Basics. So some guy named the Great Matsby or something. Yeah, I don't know. So if it's on the internet, you know it's true. You know it's true.
Hey,
but yeah, I'm just super bullish on XRP.
I want to show the CRV USD chart core curve that I've never looked at this before, and I'm just going to show you.
Yeah, CRV. Yeah, I have it just stuck under the 50% and the 382 right here. So it's got to break 110 to get more exciting for me. That's what I got to see. So we'll see if it can do that. But that's me. But that's what I see. You have a chart?
Yeah, I want to show you something. I think it'd be kind of cool. All right, so I just did this. Let me just delete. So I started with a weekly chart, and then I just went from the bottom. This little wick right here, right there is the low, 18 cents. Back to this high of $6.80. Wait, and then what I did after that was I went ahead and I said, well, let's take a look at just this last little bit here. You can see how it's been fighting with the 11111 boss, like all the way down here. It's just been 11111, or what we used to call the 11.4. Maybe I'm just gonna keep calling it 11.4 because it's just faster to say than the other thing. So from this all-time low of 18 cents to this high that it hit right here about $1.34, it comes back down and it doesn't quite hit the 1111. I'm like wondering why doesn't it do that? And I started to think this is something kind of cool you could do if the chart didn't do what you were expecting. Maybe it's because it's not done yet. And all I'm doing is I'm pulling this up until the 1111 touches that. And look, all of a sudden, oh, we're not at the 100%. This is just the 786. And you go back and look over here, and yeah, it wants to put in a slightly higher high. Oh, look, right here. If I extend this all the way to the left, I swear I wish there was a hotkey for this. Yeah, then that, look, it tests that wick right there. So yeah, we're just at the 786 for a CRV right here. And it's gotten over the halfway point and back tested right there. And so it's going to the 786 next. And then if it can go, it's already kind of done that. So I don't know, maybe it puts a toe over it or it just breaks through, but like a toe over it, it tests back to the 7071, then it gets through it, tests back to here, and then it skips the 100% fib to go to like the 1618, and then it would come back down. I going nuts over these charts, kind of doing this again. So, and then you can see that just these are all linear scale. So this is just all this just to get to the 236, right? And what it really wants to do is 382, 236, 618. So there you go, CRV. It's easily headed for 427, but you know it's eventually it's going to fight with the 786 at 538, and then it's going to fight with the 1168, which is really just the 168 plus, divide by 10 plus 1. This 1168 is kind of cool, and then eventually to the 1618. So yeah, there you go, CRV. These, if you copy my fibs and pull them yourself on linear or log scale, it works both ways. This just happens to be linear scale. Let me turn off these so you can take a screenshot. Morse labels, turn this off. There, you can see all my fibs there on the rate. All right, that's all I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to share that with you guys. It's lightning round time, Kat. Are you ready?
Hey, everybody, let's do it. I want to flip over to my screen over here. I'm going to talk about a few stocks here that have been requested by a lot of people ever since the beginning of the show here. First of all is EOSE. Ticker symbol EOSE. You can see that this is a monthly chart here. You can see that the Ichimoku cloud here is being pulled up. We got an immature Ichimoku cloud over here. You can see that it's trying to break through. The first time it got rejected over here. I think right now we're going to get to the second time. I actually drew this arrow over here a couple of weeks ago. I think it's going to get there. I think it's going to get to the 0.618 over here as well as to the leading span A over here. It's probably going to happen at some point here, more or less, right? And if you're talking about, I think the second time it challenges the area is probably going to have a better chance of breaking through than the first time. Usually getting rejected after you're trying to challenge the resistance area the first time. It's going to happen. I would like to see a little bit more volume to kind of kick into here so far. And if it breaks above the zone over here, it could get all the way up to the 0.6 over here next, which is going to be $13.70. It could potentially get down here, get rejected, and then back to the area before going up higher. But overall, it's not a bearish chart. We've also built people into that. We can see that it's a bullish expansion. And it's doing that here. It's allowing price to kind of get up higher over time. And you can see also you have a little bit of contender and then it's breaking out. This is not a bearish chart here. I think it wants to continue to get people high here. The second chart here was asked about was the United Health port. And man, it still sucks. I haven't looked at this for a long time. It's trying to hold on the 2-month cloud, maybe. I don't know. Like it's a falling knife. Hey, what's going on?
But that cloud must be thicker than pea soup.
I don't know. It did everything in the cloud over here during a great financial crisis, but I don't know whether or not it's going to hold or not. It's hard for me to say. It's a falling knife. I wouldn't want to really get into it. At minimum, if I want to really get into a stock, I want to see at least some bullish divergence that's being built up. I want to see that the Bollinger Band is holding, somewhat instead of just expanding to the downside. So I'm not ready to really get into United Health here. I don't really, care, to buy a falling knife like that anymore nowadays. That's not my style anymore. Those days are the past. Anyway, OSCR Health, you want to talk a little bit more about this. I'm actually more bullish down here than I'm up here. Initially, a few weeks ago, I was saying, hey, price probably going to end up pushing down to the upper Bollinger Band here, but because it's contracting, I just don't see it having the ability to break out quite just yet. And sure enough, got rejected here at upper Bollinger Band here, despite the long investor telling everybody to buy. But that's okay. Right now, you're at the lower part of the range. You're close to 0.618. You're also finding support here in the monthly kitchen, other baseline over here is holding pretty well. I think this is a pretty decent buy zone, to be honest. I also think it's trying to reclaim the 20-month moving average. If we're able to close the month, about the 20-month moving average, and this is just a wick over here, that would be extremely bullish for OSCR. It might need a little bit more sideways consolidation here before breaking out, and I think that's fine. Why am I not buying it? I don't have to buy every stock. I mean, I think this thing, if it breaks about the 0.76 and breaks about 0.86 here at $26, just 61 cents, you can go up a lot higher to hit some of these upper targets here. This is still a beautiful cup and handle formation over here. It's become a little bit more complex. This is a little bit of a rug pull, very similar to what Coinbase had experienced, when everybody thought it was going to go higher, having the last rug pull before going up higher. This is kind of how I see it. But you might end up having some further consolidation over here before going up. Alibaba is extremely bullish. I don't have any concerns over this stock over here. If you look at the volume over here, you can see that there's a lot of seller exhaustion. This is a beautiful double bottom, Adam and Eve double bottom. Breakout back test on declining volume with seller exhaustion. This is a beautiful, beautiful setup. On top of that, you also look at Ichimoku. It looks like it wants to break into the Ichimoku cloud here. It got rejected over here for a long time, right? Wanting you to come back and find some support here before breaking through, and looks like it's doing exactly that. Now, if you ask me what the targets are, it's really, really going to be a couple of targets here. One target is that it could go back up to 0.5 here around $136.10 to try to break that area where we got rejected over last time. Why didn't we break through last time? Well, last time because the Bollinger Band wasn't expanded yet. We were right outside the Bollinger Band here. You just simply couldn't break through. And right now the Bollinger Band is expanding, allowing the price to really go a lot higher over time. So when you talk about hot targets, 0.5, $136. 0.61 is going to be important level over here to $166. The top of the Ichimoku cloud here is going to be important. It's going to be around 188, and also 0.786. A lot of resistance levels above to break through, but also a lot of potential gains, a lot of potential targets here because it's been forming higher highs and higher lows. I think it's going to keep going up whenever it's done consolidating over here, and because the volume has been telling us that the sellers are really completely exhausted, I think this is going to end up to be a pretty decent stock here. Somebody asked about ELV. I mean, this is a falling knife. I'm not interested in buying anything like that has the monthly Bollinger Band fully expanded with price going all the way down there. I'm not really interested in catching a falling knife like that. Now, if you say, oh, there's some price history over here, can you try to catch a falling knife over here? Yeah, but the best scenario is it kind of consolidates sideways over for months before figuring out what it's going to do next, right? And a lot of repairing needs to be done here, so I'm not really that particularly interested in this stock over here. You guys already talked about CRV. Somebody asked about IREN. IREN is one of my, I'm going to release a video later. IREN is one of the candidates that I have for Palantiring because it's trying to break about the 0.86. If it breaks about 0.86, I think it's going to go a lot higher. The monthly Bollinger Band is expanding. This is one of those things I was showing you about Coinbase, that the Bollinger Band is expanding. IREN is doing that. So this is one of my candidates for potential Palantiring. But it's fighting the final boss over here at 0.86. If it gets over 0.86, then some of the higher targets can be achievable here. And I do have a very small position, so I'm happy about where it's going. RIOT is actually looking pretty decent here. It is what it is. But RIOT looking like it's got a Bollinger Band squeeze here, but maybe expanding here. It's looking like it's challenging the upper Bollinger Band here. So it's actually ahead of Mara. It's actually ahead of CleanSmart. It looks like it wants to run out of the gate and go higher with time here. And actually, it also looks like it's already reclaiming the baseline and the conversion line here. Also wants to get to the cloud here around $18 to challenge some higher prices over here. So there's nothing bearish about RIOT. I'm very happy about that. At TIGR, I have a position here. Broke about the 0.5 up here on the monthly. Broke into the Ichimoku cloud over here on the monthly. It looks like it wants to go higher. Why didn't it go higher before? Because if the Bollinger Band wasn't expanded enough yet, but right now we got a full Bollinger Band expansion, allowing price to go higher. This is actually one of those crazy stocks that's just been forming higher highs and higher lows and just expanding monthly Bollinger Band all the way down to the upside and to the downside. It looks like it wants to challenge 0.618 over here next, like $13.14 going to be the next target. If it passes that, then it's going to be 16.21 and potentially all-time high if it breaks above those levels, but we're going to have more time. It's a pretty bullish stock here. Somebody asked about BONK. He's got a little bit of Bollinger Band squeeze here on the monthly, so it's been consolidating sideways over for a long time. It looks like we got a bullish engulfing candle over here. A little bit of a rising 2, if you will, right? Boom, 1, 2, boom. We claim in the 21 moving average. This thing looks like it wants to go higher, but it's just simply hasn't happened yet. But I think this is going to go up together with the rest of the cryptocurrency market here. Now, if you ask me like targets, I don't really have that because it's it's a little bit hard for me to draw fit levels with that. And I guess I can try. Why not? From the top over here to the bottom over here and see what other targets I have. It broke back about 0.86 over here, which is bullish. So some of these higher targets are possible. I can't even say what they are. You can see them. You can read the numbers off the chart, whatever. FET, somebody asked about this. Also looking pretty decent here. I'm going to just delete this can here. I don't think I'm seeing any decent market symmetry with that one. But overall, I still think that this is a little bit delayed. It's trying to break into the cloud. Oops. It's trying to break into the monthly cloud over here. It's just been kind of hovering underneath of that. Not really able to kind of, break into the cloud quite just yet, but I think it will. It's just probably just a matter of time. It's also underneath the 20-month moving average, so it's got a little bit more room to go. It's just lagging behind, but overall, I think it's just consolidating sideways over here. I think it's probably going to end up following the rest of the cryptocurrency market to go higher because the 20-week moving average has been reclaimed, and it looks like it does want to go up higher with a weekly, lower time frame upper bullish band. This also looks like a little bit of a coming head pattern over here. So it looks like the next move is probably going to be up, and it looks like it just needs to repair its chart here a little bit, and it's doing that. So it's not anything bad. MVIS, yeah, I don't know. Microvision, look at a monthly here. It's trying to break into the 20-month moving average. As long as it gets above the 20-month moving average and even back test it, then it becomes bullish, right? But right now, it's still got a very negative sloping 20-month moving average here. So I'm not convinced yet. Right now, it's trying to break into the conversion line here, but I'm not really that convinced yet. It needs to show me more on a higher time frame. On the lower time frame, it looks like it wants to kind of break out a little bit higher here. But I really need to be convinced that the 20-month average is going to get reclaimed here before I can really get that bullish over here. It does have a little bit of a cupped candle pattern, I suppose, but I just need to see a 20-month average. Still negative slipping here, so I can't really trust that. PayPal. PayPal. I think the stock is bullish. I always thought that the stock is bullish. It's reclaiming the 20-month moving average here. The question is it going to be like, like whenever cryptocurrency, everything is like going up 10x, and this thing's like make a 2x, right? Or is it going to make a big giant move here soon because the 2-month chart has got a pretty big Bollinger Band squeeze here. It's also reclaiming the 40-month moving average, right? That's something that is to pay attention to. If this Bollinger Band squeeze over here is to play out, then maybe this thing shoots up for a while. But with that said, this is a 2-month chart. So even if it shoots up, it could be like 2027, something like that before it doubles, right? So I don't know. This is just a major laggard. I'm not sure if I really wanted to play at the cycle, but it's looking like a bullish chart. QS is just overextended here. The 2-week chart here tells you everything. It was overextended. Had to come back and touch the upper Bollinger Band here. I missed this one, guys. I kind of rotated out from here. I didn't believe in QS. I had a position here for quite a long time, and I ended up selling over here. It was going to break down. It did break down, but next thing you know, that was like the liquidity grab that needed to push up higher. Now you got a full Bollinger Band expansion. I think the monthly is looking beautiful here. I think it's going to probably hit the upper Bollinger Band. Probably going to hit the monthly Ichimoku cloud down here, maybe around like $16 or something like that before seeing any significant resistance here on a higher time frame. But this is a higher high here. There's nothing bearish about this stock anymore. I just think that it's been overextended, so it probably needs a little bit more time for the 2-week, Bollinger Band to expand, the weekly Bollinger Band to expand. But there's really nothing particularly that bearish about this chart here. Some of the other stuff that's been coming over, I think it's a little bit late, but I'm going to do maybe a couple of these here. Peloton on the monthly here, it looks like it's just been reclaiming the 20-month moving average. It's just stuck underneath the 0.336 here. But it looks like it's going to flip bullish. Just give it some time. It's probably going to allow the Bollinger Band expand up here and challenge it, 0.32 or $13. It's probably going to do that, but just be a little bit more patient. IBOT here. I don't know what it is, but it looks like it's reclaiming 20-month moving average. It's trying to have a Bollinger Band expansion over here. So this stock is bullish. I think it's going to end up keep going up here over time. If you're talking about targets, I think the next target is going to have a hard time breaking above this. Is 0.382 here. We're going to break above that. $2.33. If they go big about that, maybe $3.44 is going to be next. But it's a bullish stock here. Should you buy FUTU? It's completely up to you. It's one of my top. It's one of my candidates for Palantir in here because the monthly Bollinger Band is fully expanded. Because it's reclaiming 0.86 over here. It looks like it wants to make some all-time highs here. It's a pretty bullish stock here. So I'm pretty bullish on NVAX here. I don't know. Whenever things are underneath the 20-month moving average, I'm generally not that keen to buy into it. It does look like it's like a punch of inside candle here to this bullish candle over here. So I think eventually you're going to end up having a little bit of trend reversal here, but I just don't know when that's going to be. You've got a lot of resistance here to fight, right? The down sloping monthly conversion line over here. So I'm not that interested in that MVTS here. You got some pretty decent nice candles over here. with a very nice bullish band expansion over here on the monthly. 20-month moving averages right here. It looks like it wants to expand. It looks like this thing wants to go higher. If you talk about targets, I can just go ahead and do that right here. It broke the 0.618. It was able to close a month above the 0.618, and 0.786 is going to be next. $12.50. If you ain't going to break above that, possibly some all-time high here, but one level at a time. AAPL. Why does anybody care about Apple here? I don't know, but I'm going to turn off my GAN here. So Apple is recovering. You know, you look at it's trying to reclaim the 20-month moving average. I think it's going to do okay, but it's just one of the major laggards over here. I'm not really that particularly interested in Apple because it's still trying to fight the conversion of baseline over here. It's still underneath resistance, but it's trying to reclaim the 20-month moving average. So it's probably still need a little bit more time to really recover. It's a major laggard. It may continue to be a laggard here moving forward. And finally, BB is a bullish chart here because it has finally got a little bit of bullish band expansion here. 20-month moving average is now support. I think this is going to end up pushing up higher over time, and we're just kind of consolidating sideways over here this month. It's on like low volume. It's got a little bit of inside candle here. It's a bullish chart. I have a position. I'm just going to keep holding it, and that's it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Cantonese cat.
Yeah, well, it looks like like 20 stocks or something like that. Or I don't know. Oh, GLXY.
20 stocks in less than 10 minutes. Or a little bit.
I got another video I'm going to release later. It's also one of my Palantiring, candidate here with GLXY Digital. I like it. It's broke about the 0.86 and is also got the monthly bunch of expansion. I like it. That's all. All right, I'm not going to do any Airbnb. I'm going to stop. We're past 9 o'clock, so we're gonna chop.
Thank you so much, Kat.
Yes.
Man, I really do. I would love just to do
Yeah.
us like we just have like a regular channel that we just do this all day long, or whenever we feel like it. It'd be so funny, like our little network, the Triumvirate Network.
Yeah, no, I was thinking. Yeah, we're talking like maybe we can do like a Fox News channel kind of thing and just like get a bunch of analysts. Maybe some. I mean, we're not going to objectify women like they did back then.
But then we'll roast them for being analysts. You're like, oh, you're a stupid analyst, so your opinion doesn't matter.
I'm thinking like maybe I should be Bill O'Reilly, and I think maybe I think Matt would be a good Hannity, and I think Tracker would be a good Combs because you're a nice guy. So. Yeah, and you got great points, but like you get crapped on anyway because you're a nice guy. And then we just switch it up, and like next month, Tracker is going to be Bill O'Reilly, and like it will be.
That's so funny. I'll cut my hair real short.
You don't know what you're talking about, sir. No. Now you're done talking.
Welcome to the show. Who are you shilling today?
Oh man, no, this is fun as usual. Thank you for a good time.
Thanks for talking me off the ledge.
Until
I think.
Well, I'm sorry. Like if the whole short thing ends up turning out, I'm sorry.
No, I think we could all be right. But, right, like.
Yeah, I mean, short term there could be a dip, but it might not be that big. So.
Yeah,
but I heard my crow just went off. It back tested this 50% level. XRP is about $3.50 right now, folks. If you want to grab some, or hope, or maybe get some even lower if it drops to $3.40.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's having a little bit of a pullback right now as we speak. So Anyway, these are all short-term stuff. It's hard for me to time them, but it's hard to short a bull trend. It really is.
Now I suddenly wish we had like 10 more minutes of the show because I wanted to ask you what you guys. Matt and I talk about this a lot. I wanted to ask Kat what he thought about all these Me Too crypto treasuries that are popping up everywhere.
I mean, you're gonna, and there's only so much liquidity around, and they're gonna end up popping, and next thing you know, they're not gonna, do very well. One Bitcoin treasury that hasn't run yet that really should is Mara, right? I mean, like they're like one of the biggest Bitcoin holders, and that their price is just flat. So it really doesn't matter what the narratives are to me. I just think that whenever they decide that the liquidity should go into a stock, and Wales wants to go in, they'll just do it. know whether or not just being a treasury company is going to end up pumping up to the moon. Even if Ethereum does really well, you know, like SBET may have some major lagging. Like, I don't know. It's hard for me to say, right? Bitcoin's been holding extremely well, but Metaplanet's not been doing well over the last 6 weeks, right? And we talked about the possibility that you know, Metaplanet's not going to do well based on technical analysis. So I don't know about like the fundamentals. I think it's cool, but I also want to follow, number one, follow technicals. Number two, I don't want to get into something that just came out without any like price history to reflect, you know, what it's going to do moving forward. Because I just like to track, you know, trend. I like to see what the whales are doing. But if I don't have enough data, then like I don't want to get into it.
Yeah. So. Myself, I just look at them as like it's an opportunity to get leveraged plays on some of, you know, like SBET, for example. If Ethereum, when Ethereum starts to like really pump up, money's going to pour into SBET, like way too much of it actually. And like these treasuries, they're kind of untested, and the, you know, the market's going to be inefficient in gauging what it's actually worth at the outset, and we can take advantage of that. It's like that. What was it from? I'm trying to remember the quote from Superbad. It's like, you know, some girls are going to make some mistakes. Guys, we could be those mistakes.
I remember that.
Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. I like these country. Yeah, I'm RPR Aussie. Sorry.
That sucks. Yeah. I know.
But
yeah,
he gave us a lifetime of entertainment, and we will always appreciate him.
That is true.
He never dies as long as he's in our memory.
That is true. And as long as we keep playing recorders on Aussie songs, which I'll do later.
Yeah.
But guys, let's go.
Okay,
hard stop. Hard stop at 9.
Hard stop. Thank you so much, Kat. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Trevor. Thank you, Matt.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Matt. Yes, we'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you in the morning,
It sounds
Tracker.
It sounds like we're going to have to skip next Tuesday. Is that right, Kat?
Yeah, I got a conference thing to go to, so won't be able to do it. But you know, we'll figure it out.
All right, cool. But yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll see if I'm right, and then everyone else is right too.
Yeah, don't let us sway you. Just keep doing it. Just do you, man. Just do you. Seriously.
Do my thing.
Yeah, just do your thing.
All right, guys. Love you guys.
Bye.